You're sitting at the dinner table. Your family is laughing about something that happened years ago. Someone passes you the rice. Your favorite song comes on in the background. Everyone here loves you. You know that. You'd swear to it. And yet there's this strange, quiet ache sitting right in your chest. Like you're watching the moment instead of living in it. If you've ever felt that, I want you to know something before we go any further. You're not broken and you're not ungrateful. You're just experiencing one of the most confusing, least talked about emotional experiences a person can have. Let's talk about it. Think about the last time you were surrounded by people. A birthday dinner, a group chat blowing up with plans, a family gathering, even lying next to someone you love in bed. Everyone's present, everyone's kind, nobody's doing anything wrong. But somewhere in the middle of it, a thought creeps in. Does anyone here actually know me?
Not do they like me, not do they care about me, but do they know what's really going on inside me right now? That question changes everything, because loneliness, it turns out, was never really about how many people are in the room. It's about how seen you feel in it.
Here's why this matters more than we usually admit. We've been taught that loneliness is what happens when you're alone. So when it shows up in a crowded room, in a loving relationship, at a table full of people who drop everything for you, it feels like a malfunction, like something is wrong with you for feeling it. That confusion often makes people go quiet about it. You don't tell your partner, "I feel distant from you," when they're being perfectly sweet. You don't tell your friends, "I feel alone right now," when they just planned your birthday party. It feels ungrateful, almost rude. So the feeling gets swallowed. And swallowed feelings don't disappear. They just wait. Here's the piece that changes how you see this. Psychologists distinguish between two very different things: social contact and emotional intimacy. Social contact is presence. People physically near you, talking, laughing, existing in your space. Emotional intimacy is different. It's the feeling of being known. The sense that if you showed someone the messy, uncertain, unfiltered version of yourself, they'd stay. They'd understand. They wouldn't flinch. You can have endless social contact and almost no emotional intimacy. That's the gap. That's where the loneliness lives. This is sometimes called relational loneliness. Not the absence of people, but the absence of being known by the people who are there. Love and understanding aren't actually the same currency. A person can love you completely and still not have access to what's happening underneath your smile. Picture two friends who've known each other for 15 years. They talk every week, they show up for each other's milestones. Real love, no question. But one of them is going through something quietly devastating, doubting their marriage maybe, or wrestling with who they even are anymore. And they never bring it up. Not because the friendship isn't strong, but because somewhere along the way, their relationship settled into a pattern. Jokes, updates, safe topics. Nobody decided this on purpose. It just became the shape of the friendship. So the friend sits there, fully loved, fully alone with the thing that matters most. Or think of a couple who've been together for years. They function like a well-oiled machine. Groceries, schedules, inside jokes. But one of them stopped sharing their inner world months ago, maybe without even noticing. Not out of dishonesty, just exhaustion, or fear of being a burden, or simply forgetting that sharing was ever a habit they had. That's not a failing relationship. That's two people standing close together while quietly drifting in different directions. Here's where it gets even more tender. Sometimes the loneliness in a room full of love isn't about them at all. It's about you. Many people carry a hidden belief, usually formed early, sometimes in childhood, sometimes from a relationship that taught them the wrong lesson, that their real feelings are too much, too heavy, too inconvenient. So they learn, without ever consciously deciding to, how to be present without being honest. They become excellent at showing up, terrible at showing themselves. And the cruel irony is this: the people who learn to hide the earliest are often the ones who seem the most fine in a room, the easiest to be around, the ones nobody worries about. Because it's not that no one is offering closeness. It's that some part of you learned long ago it isn't safe to accept it.
Here's the misunderstanding almost everyone falls into. They think the solution is finding new people, new friends, new relationships, a new social circle, as if the problem is quantity. But if the real gap is emotional distance, not physical distance, then adding more people just multiplies the same disconnect. You end up with a bigger room full of the same quiet ache. The other misunderstanding is thinking this feeling means the relationship is fake or unworthy. It doesn't. Love and unfamiliarity can coexist in the exact same relationship at the exact same time. Feeling unseen by someone doesn't cancel out the fact that they love you. It just means love on its own isn't automatically the same thing as understanding.
So what actually helps? Not some big dramatic conversation, just small, honest cracks in the surface. It might be saying, honestly, I'm not doing as okay as I seem, to one person you trust. Not everyone, just one. It might be asking someone a real question instead of a polite one. Not how are you, but what's actually been on your mind lately. It might be noticing, gently, the moment you're about to perform fine instead of being real, and choosing just once to pause before you do.
Emotional closeness isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in these tiny, unguarded seconds, repeated over time, until being known stops feeling dangerous. And here's the quiet realization underneath all of this. The loneliness you feel in a room full of people who love you isn't proof that something is missing from your relationships. It's proof that something is missing from your self-expression. The people around you didn't fail to love you enough. You just haven't yet let them love the parts of you that are still waiting to be introduced.
That's not a tragedy. It's actually kind of hopeful, because it means the loneliness isn't permanent, and it isn't about finding new people. It's about slowly, safely, letting the people already in your life meet more of who you really are. So the next time you're in that room, surrounded by warmth but still feeling that quiet distance, try not to see it as a sign that something's wrong with them or with you. See it as a signal, a gentle nudge from the part of you that's still waiting to be known, because the goal was never to be surrounded. It was always to be seen.